Yes.
So, and if you want to just put us on, even though we're not like starting yet, you can
Well,
just so
maybe I
that
should
the
move a little
audience
bit more so I won't
let us
block
know if
it.
we can zoom so you can see it on the camera or not.
The screen?
Yeah.
I could add to it.
Okay.
if you need.
Cool.
But I got you guys.
I was wondering for the audience, I'm blocking it.
Oh, yeah. Can you guys see the behind this? Okay. Well, we're gonna keep going around and meeting everybody and give everybody a few more minutes. So we're gonna put you on the spot next.
Okay.
Tell us who you are and what you're into, what you're doing, and how you do fashion.
I'm Amy. I have a very creative day job, and when I have free time, I like to sew. And I learned from an early age from my grandmother to be obsessed with fabric. And
Love those grandmas.
yeah,
My grandma got this. So
Yeah.
100%. That's awesome.
My grandma is the reason why when I do needlework, the back has to look good. Because she always wanted the back to look as good as the front.
my grandmother taught me to cheat. But I do remember, like, my mom and I went on this great trip. I can't remember where we went. We got fabric and we came back and we said, Grandma, you get first choices. 2 of these pieces are yours. And then we went out to the bathroom or something and she'd hidden them and taken them all.
That sounds like my grandma.
Yeah.
My grandma's a bit of a klepto.
Just for fabric.
Everything. She hoarded so many crazy things that I don't know where she got them from. Welcome, come on in. Good to see you. Sit up in the second row there if you could, as close as you can. One more row up. That way we don't have empty seats in the first few rows. Thank you, thank you. We're just going around meeting everybody because this is all about networking too. So we're gonna go now to Tasha.
I work here. I'm a sample maker. I love doing like all types of crafts. Like I even have a huge craft room and I bake. I do like every little thing I can get into, like even arts and everything. But here it's like I've been learning a lot from here. This is like my first fashion job here, and it's been very fun to learn a lot here.
You're very talented. Awesome. All right. Hi.
I'm new to fabric and just trying to get involved.
Tell everybody what you hope me to do.
So around
Yes. Yay. So we call you an apparel entrepreneur. And hopefully we're going to see your products in the next 6 months or so come out. That would be great. 6 months to a year takes a little time. So that would be great. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's a great way to network. And you've got a lot of talented people in this room that you might end up, really working with. So. Okay, cool. How about you, young serious lady?
I'm Twyla. I work here for fabric. I'm the production manager, and so I help make sure the projects go through all the steps. I also operate printer some days, I sew some days, I cut some days, so whatever we need to do that day. And yeah, I just came to listen to Shari.
Twyla, wearer of many hats.
Twyla, our workroom goddess.
Yes.
I'll get to that.
All right.
I'm Chase. I own a brand. My brand is Ambitions Chaser. So if you have a dream or goals, of course you do, get up and go get it. That's my slogan. I'm the first designer in North America to get my hands on a patented fabric. It's 100% super organic bamboo. It's made with proprietary dyes and no plastic. I'm making stacklets.
Wow. So you're the first one to use this
Yeah,
fabric?
I'm the first one to use it.
That's so cool. Awesome. I love the name of the brand because it incorporates your name in a clever way. That's pretty cool. Yes, another apparel entrepreneur. Yay! All right.
I'm Jenny Rochot. I am working on starting my own women apparel and scarf company, accessories and scarf company, focused on luxury silk scarves. So it's all in motion, and I hope to launch in the next, 60 days. But during all of this, I decided I need to sell my house and buy a new one. So there's absolute chaos in my world right now. So yeah,
Oh,
we're
glad
in
you made it
process.
tonight, even with all that chaos.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like my dedication to my business. It's like I deserve this for my business. So.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I hope it's helping. Like each time you go, maybe you're learning something new. That's the goal.
Exactly.
And we got to see your scarves last time, and they're gorgeous.
Thank you. I forgot to bring one today. I
I
rushed out of the house
know. That
today.
needs to be a staple, like tied to your purse all the time.
I know. Well, I have they're on order. They should be coming from
Look, right next to Twyla. Okay, perfect. Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, how about you?
I'm Rachel and I am an intern here. I just graduated from Northern Arizona University with a couple different degrees, and I specialize in photography and journalism.
She's gonna take some photos tonight. Yay! Awesome. All right, and then how about you? Everybody's introduced themselves. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, right? You walk in.
Yeah, it's Ida. And I focus on consciousness and healing. And I've been wanting to since my child. I also do organic clothing.
Another apparel entrepreneur. Yay! Well, good to see you again. It's been a while. Yes, welcome back. Awesome. Okay, so what time are we looking at right now? Anybody have the time?
6:09.
6:09. Okay, I usually don't start these till about 6:15, just because, people take a while to get here, traffic, things like that. So we're gonna wait a couple more minutes before we start. Why don't we just have a Q&A? Does anybody have any questions about fabric or what we do or anything that has to do with that kind of stuff?
If I brought a bunch of yards of fabric, could you print on it?
Yeah, well, yes, but we have to test it first. So there's called a strike off. We need to actually print on the fabric, like a yard of it, and we have a special print that we print that allows us to measure if the colors are coming out okay. So we basically need to run that, and then if it did shrink, then we know to program the printer to adjust for it, or to tell you to adjust your pattern or make those adjustments, because you gotta learn that first. And then we have to know if the fabric, most likely the fabric is printable, like the printer prints on almost any fiber, but it's the things that stop the printer from printing on fabrics is if it's got a curly selvage. The selvage is the edge of the fabric, and if it's curling up, the print heads will hit it, and if we break a print head, it costs like $6,000.
Okay.
So we never want to break a print head. So we need to just make sure there's no rolled edges, and then even fabrics that look like they're going to be nice and smooth, we've learned that if there's a really super stretchy fabric, sometimes the pulling of the fabric as it comes to the machine will create like a wrinkle. Imagine when you pull a stretchy fabric, there's like wrinkles in the fabric a little bit. Those wrinkles will even cause the print head to break. And so fabrics that are super stretchy sometimes are not printable because of that very reason, even though the fiber on that fabric is printable. So we just need to look at the fabric first to see about the edges, see what that looks like, test it, and then we'll let you know. It costs $65 to test the fabric. You need to have at least 10 yards of fabric on the roll, because the machine is like the size of a semi, and it has to go from one end of it to the other end of it, so it needs enough fabric on the roll to go all the way through. So it's kind of a little bit of an expense. You're spending $65 to test it, but you're spending enough money to buy 10 yards of fabric, right? And what if it doesn't work? So it's a risk that you take. It's really one of those things you just have to weigh. Is it worth it? If printing's going to be the main thing that you do, then yeah, it's worth it, right? And so you'd buy that. And now let me backtrack a little bit. So let's say about 10 yards, you printed. We found out it printed. Well, now you only have 9 yards left on the roll, and now we can't print any more of that fabric. So you might want to buy more than 10 yards so that we can do the next run using the remaining bit of that fabric,
Yeah,
The roll has to at least have 10 yards on it.
And
Makes
then if you could, or let's say if I had a different design, I could use those 9 yards and just eventually come back with the appropriate amount of yards.
Yeah, so we can use up what you have. Let's say you bought 15 yards. We did the strike off and we used 1, so now we have 14. Then that 14 yards, maybe you want to do another strike off or another test, or you sew 1 garment and we use 2 more yards. Well, now you've got 12 yards on there. The last thing you want to do though is end up with 9 yards. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to plan it out. So maybe if you're down to 10 yards, then the next print, you're printing 10 yards just so that you use all that. And then you can come back with a bigger roll or whatever, the next time. So that sample yardage is there in the beginning just to get it going, and then you're going to order a big roll.
Right.
So it's great to plan a design to be to buy a fabric that you can use for multiple designs, and that can be your fabric for everything. And then as your orders come in, we'll just print what has been ordered and cut and sew those. So if you get one sweatshirt and you buy one fleece and it's this bamboo amazing whatever, then we'll just print the rainbow print and then the sunflower print and then the polka dot print and whatever orders come in. That's the best thing about this.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
And you only have to do the strike off once.
Yeah.
So if you pay for that, it's only $8 a yard to print after that.
Exactly, $8 yard and with a $40 minimum. So you have to print at least, a few yards or you want to print a few yards to do that.
And you can also sew onto the end of your fabric to add more yardage and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about saying that. So if we did end up with 8 yards or something and you had a few more yards, we could stitch that together just so that it fits in there if we had to.
Zigzag it butt to butt.
Yeah, that would be you then. You're gonna
Yeah.
have, or you.
And we try to trick the printer to think there's still fabric on there, so it's trying to get into the end of your roll, but it stops after a certain point and says there's no more fabric. So
I found out in filament 3D printing, they have a similar sort of thing. You check to see how your filament and nozzles and heat and plate and everything are. And there's a standardized little object that you print, and you can tell what's wrong by looking at it. And they're little tiny boats.
Oh my God.
So people who do them regularly, they'll have like stacks of these little boats on their work.
That's so cool. It's kind of like our strike off. Like we have the one print that we use because we know it works. It has all
Yeah,
the colors.
yeah, and you can tell from how it printed what's wrong with it.
That's amazing. Oh, wow.
But I just like it that it's a whimsical little boat.
I know. Why isn't it like a gremlin or something? Hi, welcome. Good to see you again. Come sit in the second row if you could. We're trying to fill up the first couple of rows. Maybe right there next to Tasha.
okay.
That would be amazing. Everybody just went around and introduced themselves. I always feel bad putting everybody on the spot, but do you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, okay. I hate to say an emerging designer, because I've been looking at this for a while. But I'm a designer, diverted a little bit by way of college and became an accountant, a tax accountant. So that's what I've done for a livelihood, but I'm still a designer. My name is Karen Jurgen. So my overall goal was when I retired, far away term, I'm going to sketch all day and design. And so as you guys are going, you'll see that this industry takes many facets. You need your business admin team, you need creative directors. And so it's good that you're getting a wide breadth of everything because it's fully charged. But it's capital intensive, and that's where I spend a lot of my time developing the wherewithal of resources needed to be effective to scale. So that's kind of why I'm saying I'm still emerging, but I got a little foundation. So,
Nice. Well, being an accountant probably helps. You really have a grasp of the finances.
oh, well, it did. It helped more than I really thought, because that was a component of some of the curriculum in designs that you don't totally get. You
Costing.
get a lot of the other stuff, and that's valuable and well needed. But you'll find yourself running down the hall to talk to your legal team, or running down the hall to talk to your finance accounting team, and you just need to be on top of the communication with them, even if that wasn't your actual vocation. And good leadership skills are essential, as you guys already know.
Hopefully you get so big that you do have a whole team for
Oh,
legal
you
and
do.
accounting.
You are assembling a team now, even if you don't see it that way, because that's how the industry is. It's kind of the experiences, like-minded people. And when you get to a point that you are looking to deliver, say, goods to whomever, the touches that you make along the way are the people that are going to review and support you first. So, we might be designers, but we're also buyers, we're also stylists, we're also accountants.
So that's
and directors of creative groups, so she's got a team. So You know, it is what it is.
It's so true. That's why we do these, because like this, you could be building your team right now. There's a lot of people, in this, I mean, there's a photographer right there, there's an accountant right there, you know? Maybe those are the people that you're ending up working with. And there's a model right there. They can have all your clothes. Seamstresses, all types of people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Already expressing interest, and once you get bitten by this industry, whatever level you're talking, you kind of get it. So that's why I'm here, because costumes are a major portion of what we're doing in fashion, you know, whether they're streetwear or I'm gonna wear it every day to work, costume is definitely up there.
I don't know how many times I've had to explain to people who see a high-end fashion show and they're like, well, who's gonna wear that? It's like, no, it's to get the attention of the press. It's to get their name out there. There'll be a few wearable pieces in the line. You just have to know how to pick them out.
And they're gonna inspire the other pieces. in
Yeah,
the
and
line
sometimes-
other designers.
And
yeah.
sometimes the haute couture line is just to make name recognition for their ready-to-wear line.
Mhm.
A lot of them don't make any money.
No, I mean, the costumes to produce them.
Exactly.
There's a movie, it's old now, it's kind of dated, but it's called The Secret World of Haute Couture. And I think you probably find it on Netflix or something, did you see it? And it's pretty cool because it dives into the world of couture. And there's really only like 100 couture clients in the whole world.
Yeah.
And they're not like movie stars and stuff like that, because you have to be richer than that. They're like, you know, the wife of the person that created the Diners Club card and, you know, things like that. And basically it's secretive because they don't really want you to know that they're couture customers or that rich, you know, and it's really just, you know, those one of a kind that somebody can afford to spend a week in Paris to get their fittings and, you know, have it custom created for themselves and all that stuff. But money in the business is all the ready to wear stuff. Like that's just this icing on the cake and inspiring the ready to wear things, you know. Okay, I think we're gonna get started. It seems like we've got a pretty
Kind
good.
of shift over a little bit so people can
Okay,
actually
yeah,
see the
can you
screen.
guys see the screen behind us? Are we okay? Okay. Can you see the screen behind us? And can you hear us on the mic? Okay, so I'm going to start by talking about fabric before we introduce our guest. And when I introduce you and you start talking, hold it really close to your face because then we got to hear it for the people who are watching online, okay? And when you go out here, it tends to not work. So get it really awkwardly close to your face. Okay, I'm going to start by introducing fabric because, I mean, most of you know fabric, but maybe there's a few that we need a little bit more information. First of all, Fabric stands for the Fashion and Business Resource Innovation Center, and we're a nonprofit fashion incubator. And we like to say we're democratizing fashion, which means we're just kind of opening up the access to a world that is normally hard to get into and providing tools and resources and things to people that maybe they wouldn't have access otherwise. And we're a lot of things. It's not just a factory or an events, you know, producer or whatever. We are Well, we're a nonprofit fashion incubator. We're like a business accelerator. We're like a design studio. We do events. We have a directory. We have online. We have offices here. We have classes. I mean, there's like a whole bunch of stuff that you can do here. So it's really hard to say exactly what we are. So we just kind of use the word incubator because incubator just means you're growing something, right? So we're just all these things that we offer are just helping businesses grow. And we really want to help what we call an apparel entrepreneur. So instead of fashion designer, we call you apparel entrepreneur just because a lot of people come here who maybe didn't go to design school. In fact, majority of people didn't go to design school. They don't know anything. And we want to help them with that. And we want to provide them with all that guidance. So they're not technically fashion designers. They have a good idea for a sewn product. Come on in. They have a good idea for, you know, an invention or something like that. And, you know, the skills that they need is very different. Come sit down. We're just getting started. You haven't missed anything. And you're not sitting behind the sewing machine most of the time when you're an apparel entrepreneur at all, even. You're hiring the people to do that. And so the skills that you need are more production management and quality control and those kind of things. So when you're getting into this world to create a brand, whether you're the one sewing it or not, apparel entrepreneur just seems to be a better word for that. And sometimes people come here making other things like sewn product inventions and stuff. Welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm just getting started explaining fabric before we get going. You didn't miss anything. All right. First,
what we do is, democratizing access, but this industry is really old school, you guys. Most fashion is still made in a very handmade way. There's still paper patterns. There's still people who take those patterns and grade them into sizes by hand. There's still a lot of old school techniques, and a lot of that has no efficiency in it. And there's a lot of technology out there that is being slow to be embraced because most of the industry is giant businesses that have a really hard time changing the way they do things. We embrace all of that technology. We want to use technology so that our apparel entrepreneurs have it a little easier and more sustainable and more affordable and more efficient and everything. So we do things like we build our patterns digitally and then we stitch them up on avatars so that you can see how it's going to look before we ever cut and sew it, because then you're not wasting all that time and money and fabric and everything. And then once we've perfected that, I mean, you can even see the way that the fabric is going to drape and stretch because the characteristics of the fabric can be built into the software. Then you can actually play with prints and colors by taking those unique artwork. You can design your own print and we can embed it into the patterns so that you can engineer really cool artwork onto your designs that we can actually see on an avatar. And then you can take that avatar and you can actually put it on your website or put it on social media and market and see if there's any interest in it before you've ever cut and sewn anything. So you're not sitting on any inventory. And then when people start placing orders for that, then you can actually have those orders filled on demand and do it in very small batches. We do that because that's the thing that most people need when they first start. They can't meet minimums, or they want to make 5,000 or 500 of anything because they don't even have the sales yet. So they want to just fill what the orders have been as they come in. And then we use digital product passports, which are little chips that you can install into the garments where you tap your phone on the garment, you can learn about the garment so that you can justify the higher price point that it's going to be because you've made few instead of mass producing overseas in a sweatshop. So it's going to be more expensive. So you have to educate your consumer on why it's more expensive. So you can put in videos of who actually sewed your clothes. You can educate the consumer on the amazing textile that it's made out of, or whatever. You can even market to your consumer in these digital product passports and tell them when the next print or color is going to come out or you're having a sale. So all of this technology is kind of available end to end here. And this is the only place I know of in the whole US where all of that is available under one roof for a brand of any size. And I'm going to show you a little quick video to give you an idea of some of that I was taught. So that was actually last April at our Eco Fashion Week, which was one of our fashion shows took place right here in this room. And the garment that you saw was created by Amelia Walsh. She was who checked you in when you walked in. And she came up with this butterfly concept. And basically it took her a few days to design and develop and source the materials and do all of that. And then literally we created the pattern, print, cut, and sew it in the next couple of days. And it was on the runway and it had the digital product passport in it. The audience got to scan it, learn about the designs and everything. This can take place much faster than the normal speed that it happens. You know, when you design and develop something and you don't use technology, I mean, there's like 4 to 6 months involved in just getting the thing developed. And then another 4 months to manufacture this whole entire thing. Welcome. Thanks for coming, guys. We just started. You haven't missed much. Hi. So basically the technology is really like the main thing that we try to engage here so that it makes your life a lot better. You know, it makes it a lot more affordable, a lot more sustainable, Okay. Now, why do we do all of this? Well, we're a nonprofit. We just want to help people. And both my business partner, my co-founder, and I have been there and done that. We're both apparel entrepreneurs. We've been in the industry. I've been in the industry since 1994. I've had my own brand. I've worked for other brands. I've been a production manager. I know the secret sauce to making small batches domestically. And so I just want to share that with other people so that they can do that as well. And in order to do that, we became a nonprofit because offering no minimum manufacturing actually costs us money. We don't make money doing that. We actually lose money doing that, but that's the thing everybody needs. So we want to offer that. We also want to offer the guidance, and we do that through a roadmap, and we scholarship minorities, veterans, people with disabilities, people with a financial need into our roadmap. And the roadmap is the education that you need to be able to get through product development and manufacturing. And we need to give that away because, first of all, it's really expensive to start a clothing line. So you need to save your money for actually manufacturing your clothes, but also because it's hard to tell somebody to pay for something they don't even know they need. Most people don't know what they don't know. They don't know that they need to become a production manager and quality control manager. You have to be involved in the process. And if you're not, things can go wrong and you're still paying for it. So that's the most important part. So we became a nonprofit so we can offer all these things, and we supplement our income, the loss of those things, with other things. Like we have an event space that we rent out. In fact, we're losing it really soon, so we have to replace it really soon. We have a printer, so the more we're printing, the more income that we're generating. We apply for grants. We do all kinds of things to try to generate some income around here. But our mission is a people-focused vision. So people-focused vision. We try to help apparel entrepreneurs by providing them with the guidance and the resources and the technology and all of that stuff. But our vision is a planet-focused vision. We want to basically set the model for the fashion industry to do better. We think that there could be a circular supply chain model that we could develop, and using technology and supporting so many apparel entrepreneurs, we could create a new fashion industry here in Arizona that can set the model for everybody else. While LA and New York are kind of stuck in all the old school, slow ways of doing things, we can use technology and make it better and prove that it's possible to reshore manufacturing and use, technology to make like custom, unique, on-demand, awesome pieces, putting it back in the hands of the artist, basically, taking it out of the fast fashion hands. So we opened in 2016. We've provided $13 million worth of free and discounted programs and services to the community, and we've helped over 2,000 apparel entrepreneurs since then. Not everybody's a success story because it takes a perfect storm to come together to actually be a success in this industry. Unfortunately, it's really tough. We're trying to take away some of the barriers there, but if you have a good idea, you have money, you have gumption, you have the willingness to learn, you're filling a void in the marketplace, and all those things come together, this is the place to do it. We also have a lot of free benefits. So if you're a free member, hopefully you're taking advantage of some of these benefits. First of all, if you have a business, if you're a photographer, if you're a model, if you're a seamstress, if you're somebody in the fashion industry, if you own your own brand, put yourself in our directory. It's free. So just create a free membership, log in, click add directory listing, and add your business to the directory. First of all, it's going to rank your SEO higher in search because your business is going to be linked to our business online, which is great for Google searches. And also because a lot of people go there to find the things that they need. Designers constantly go there looking for models or photographers, and people look for all kinds of things in there. There's sewing factories in there. There's production stuff in there. There's designers, there's textile designers, there's fabric mills, there's all kinds of things. So use the directory and add yourself to it. We also have a classifieds page. So if you're looking for a job, go there and you'll find fashion jobs. And if you're hiring, send it to us and we'll post it for free so you don't have to pay for a job board somewhere. We also have a lot of events. We have an events calendar where you can find all the fashion events that we know of in the industry, like the trade shows and the textile shows and the fashion weeks and things like that. But we also have our own shows, and we want to make them more affordable because it's expensive to participate in fashion shows and to put on your own. So we do fashion shows that are free to participate in or free to attend, things like this, and they're all on the events calendar. In fact, we do Eco Fashion Week every year. And we have events that you can participate in as if you're a sewist and you want to participate and refabricate. You can upcycle denim and you can be on the runway. You can be part of the behind the scenes during that week. You can be part of the pop-up shop and sell garments, the clothing swap. We have a whole bunch of stuff planned. So check the events calendar, and that's where you're going to find all the events. And then we also have offices. We have desk space. We have a free sourcing library if you're looking for fabrics and trims to source for your brand. all kinds of free things. So take advantage of those things. And then when you level up your membership and you become an apparel entrepreneur member, you get access to the roadmap, which is that guide that I was telling you. And then we can actually work with you to make your product. And that's the thing that we scholarship people into. So it's a step-by-step guide, tells you exactly what to do, what documents need to be filled out, how to fill them out, what to check for, what could go wrong, where do you find your fabric, where do you find a sewer, where do you find this, where do you find that. It's literally everything built into it. There's also a business section to help you figure out what licenses you need, how to find funding, how to write a business plan. There's a whole section on branding so that you know what you need before you create a website. You need a whole branding kit so you have colors and fonts and taglines and all of that stuff. It teaches you literally everything. But the most important thing is the design development and the manufacturing in small batches domestically. That's the thing that I can't seem to figure out how you would learn otherwise. There isn't really any other program at other schools that teach you this. Like, they teach you how to sew and they teach you how to drape and they teach you how to draw pretty pictures and things like that. But if you're starting a clothing brand, you're really the one that needs to be the production manager and the QC person. So those are the skills that it's actually teaching you. And then, and then one of the free things that we do every month is have this event. This is for networking. As we all met each other afterwards, I want you guys to network and talk with each other again, but also so that we can learn something. So each month we bring in a different expert, somebody who's doing it, somebody who's in the field in some way. And it's a different subject each time. So it's sometimes a pattern maker, it's sometimes a stylist, it's sometimes a designer. I mean, it's been all kinds of different people that have come through here, and we've been doing these for years. You can watch past ones on our website on the behind the scenes page. We record them. And this month I'm really excited because we haven't done one on costume design or sample sewing yet. So I'm really excited and proud to welcome Shar Madsen. Let's give her a hand. Yay, Shar! So Shar is a costume designer. She's also, like you met a few minutes ago and heard a few minutes ago, she's also a sample maker here at Fabric. So she's a person that if you have started a brand, she's one of the people that is sewing your samples in our facility downstairs. By the way, if you haven't seen our facility and you want to come on a tour after, let me know. I'll take you downstairs. I'll show you the whole factory. And where Shar normally works every day. So we're going to get started, and Shar is going to tell us her story. The whole purpose is to kind of hear somebody's journey, because you never know where your journey is going to take you. And it's really inspiring to hear other people's, but also you're going to learn something along the way. And we're going to start off as Shar as a child, because I always force everybody to share their baby picture and tell us a little bit about themselves. So here's a little embarrassing picture, but it's adorable. So is your mic on? I just want to make sure we've turned it on. Okay. Now remember, hold it really close to your mouth, very awkwardly close.
Like here.
Yes, you got it. Okay. So Shar, tell us about this cute girl right here.
Probably the first one. I'm trying to escape as usual. Always on like a cat it was on the wrong side of every door.
I love the cat analogy because you're a cat person.
Yes, I may be a cat. I'm not sure about that.
So as a kid, did you always wear unique things and like fashion or like clothing?
That I made in the second picture.
At that age? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty simple. It's just like a zip front tunic top.
So is that your school picture?
Yeah.
So you made the outfit. Did you know that you were going to make it specifically for your school photo?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And how old are you there?
I think that's third grade.
Okay, so you're like 8 and you made your top.
Yeah.
I love it. Wow. Okay, so
But I did, and she did say I should talk about it, that I started out doing Barbie clothes with one of those little Barbie machines that glued the fabric seams together.
a couple of people remember that.
Yeah, those things were so frustrating.
I know, right? I just like sewing though.
Yeah, when they won't let you near the needle. It's like,
So who taught you how to sew?
My mom, to some extent. I mean, she taught me everything she knew. And then at what point she said, you're beyond me.
Wow.
So,
Like at what age do you think you're beyond her?
I really don't know. Probably about 12.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
She worked all the time. She didn't really have time to do much creative stuff. So,
Did you grow up
single
here?
mom. Not until I was 11.
Okay. Where are you from?
North Dakota. Westby, North Dakota.
Woo, we got some
Very
fans.
small place up near the Canadian border, and I never want to live in snow again in my life.
So you went the opposite and lived in burning hell. Okay. All right. So tell us a little bit about your childhood then. When you learned how to sew, was there just an interest in that? Like, how did that happen? Because not everybody learns how to sew when they're little.
Wanting to wear what I wanted to wear, which involved no dresses whatsoever.
Okay.
I mean, this I wouldn't have worn with if you'd held a gun to my head at that age.
So you're like, a little bit more of a tomboy back then.
Just not a girl. Not a girly girl.
Awesome. That's great. So then
This was paired with pants.
love it. And back then, I think a lot of our moms and grandmas knew how to sew. And so did you ask to learn?
It just seemed like it was a natural thing to do. Sewing was just a, general thing in our household.
I love it. You don't see that nowadays,
Not that often. And her sewing machine was another thing I could get into,
Love it. You're pretty curious and great with your hands and mechanically inclined. As a seamstress at Fabric, I mean, she is the one that we call it the problem children to her. So whenever we get an order for something that's really complicated or it's hard to sew or we can't figure it out or whatever, it goes to Shar because she gets in it. She figures it out. She's really talented at doing that. So
I was a math major.
Oh, there you
It
go.
helps with pattern drafting. It helps with pattern recognition.
That left brain analytical kind of side, which is really needed in sewing and pattern making and things. So a lot of people that go to fashion school and they think they're going to draw pictures all day and come up with nice ideas and be backstage at fashion shows. I think that's what people picture when they get into fashion. And it's not that. And it's really analytical and it's left brain. And there's a lot of math and there's a lot of engineering and you have to be a mechanic when you're working in a sewing machine, and you have to know math and you have to know geometry for pattern making and stuff. So the people who are more left brain end up really being great at construction, and that's where the jobs are.
Topology is particularly good at making a flat surface go around a three-dimensional surface.
Got it. All right, tell me what we're looking at here.
My first adult job at age 21 was for, if anyone remembers Bobby McGee's conglomeration, all of their restaurant chain wore costumes for their servers. And their costume company was here in Phoenix at I think 14th Avenue and Indian School. And at 21, I got a job there. I'd never worked on an industrial sewing machine. They gave me a pile of cut pieces, an example of the finished garment, and said, go for it.
Wait a minute. So you moved here at what age again?
11.
11. And then you went to high school?
No, you have to understand. I went through 6th grade, and then I was skipped 3 grades, and then I went to school for a little longer, and then finished high school homeschooling.
Oh, wow. So all that analytical left brain stuff, they moved you up. They were like, this girl's too smart.
I was bored.
I bet.
I was very bored.
Wow. Okay. So then you got homeschooled by your mom?
Pretty much myself. I really am good at book learning.
Wow. That's amazing. That's challenging though. Do you feel like that was hard?
I always had a thing of I'd never ask teachers questions. I would just read the book. I'd get in trouble for reading ahead. And
Oh my gosh.
really, that was, school was easy.
Wow. Okay. So you graduated. Did you graduate a little early then?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what was was this your first job or
This was my first official adult job. I did some work for my mom before that. She used to make jewelry, but.
Oh, it's the creativity in your family. Okay.
Starting to make sense. All right. So how did you get this job, first of all? How did they know that you sewed to be able to sit you at a sewing machine and hand you press?
I found the listing for it and I went in and did a sample sewing and they hired me, which I was grateful because I got like a customer service job. And 1 week later, they offered me this job for a lot more money an hour. And I'm like, okay, bye.
That's awesome. So you got in with a different thing and then they found out your skills at that point.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Anybody remember Bobby McGee's? Yes, a couple of people. You have to be kind of from a different generation like me. I remember Bobby McGee's very well. It was very fun to go there and everybody's all dressed up.
Yeah,
and-
like all of these servers there, that they were from the bar area, and we made so many of those tuxedo jackets.
Wow. So
We'd cut them in big, huge sacks.
Oh, okay. Did they have the big cut knives like we have downstairs at
Mhm.
the time? Wow. They had a full production assembly line back there, huh?
Yeah. And they don't show it as much, but if it was the time period, we had big, thick shoulder pads, and we doubled them. So those things had huge shoulder pads.
Okay.
At
What
least,
era is that? What age is this? What year is this?
90s something?
Early 90s, maybe?
Yeah.
So giant shoulder pads. Making some sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, gosh, and making blazers or jackets is kind of a big deal. I mean, that's not like easy.
Yeah. Well, that's when I learned to do, well, they were also making sure you learned how to sew industrial, which means not many pins.
Mhm.
They would give you a half dozen pins. If you lost any of them, you had to justify where they went.
Really?
I could set those sleeves in with one pin on the top, one pin on the bottom, and I'd get it in.
Wow, that's crazy because it's not like they're a giant high capacity manufacturer. I mean, they're making just the costumes for the
No,
restaurant.
but they were making it for their whole chain, and it was just like a dozen of us in the shop.
How many do you think? I mean, you probably don't remember, but how many like items do you think they pumped out of that place?
No idea.
Yeah,
A
okay.
lot.
It's crazy they went that deep into like this is manufacturing.
Yeah.
You know?
And then the other ones are more costume things. There's a Mork from Ork and a Raggedy Ann. And, I think the more unusual ones I did was a custom for a Cinderella dress for a 9-month pregnant server.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that must have been challenging.
That was one of the more interesting ones.
Wow. Okay, so if they had like a group of items like the tuxedos, then how did they deal with the different sizes? Would they cut and sew a whole bunch and then edit them per, make them fit each person, or did they?
No, pretty much they do standard sizes. They'd be
Okay.
like large, medium, small.
Okay.
And like that. And they do them in such big stacks. The problem was the cutter wasn't always really careful about keeping those bottom layers even. So we had to get more creative about putting the ones at the bottom together.
So that's a good point. I always want to turn these into lessons, but when you stack cut, you layer all your fabrics on the table. So you have a big stack of them, put your pattern pieces on top, and then you cut through, you trace around those pattern pieces. And if the stack is really high, then you can imagine it starts to topple over, a leaning tower of Pisa kind of situation. And the bottom pieces end up twerking a little bit, like they're doing this. And so if you've ever bought something where the seam on the side is sort of twisting, like a t-shirt, you try to lay it flat and you can see the side seam kind of twisting around your body. That's what happened probably. It was the bottom part of the stack kind of got messed up because of it slipping.
Yeah, but it was good experience in learning how to deal with a piece where like the sides might be a little off, the grain might be a little off, and allowing for that sort of thing.
Yeah, because that's a whole big part of manufacturing sewing too, accommodating for those things. All right, tell us about this.
This is some of the work I did myself. This is actually after I worked at another place. This coat is out of lamb leather. Sadly, it was a very dark photo. You'll see other photos of it. That's much more blue than it was. And that's my late husband, and that is a suit jacket I made for him.
And that's you, right?
Hmm?
Is this you?
Yeah, that's me.
Great.
They're
And
both me.
Oh, awesome. Cute. So you made all of these things. And when is this around the same time as the Bobby McGee's?
No, this is after.
Okay. And
A
how long
little
did you work at
after.
Bobby McGee's?
Probably only a couple of years.
Okay.
And then I started working for a place called Charté Originals that was out in Gilbert.
Okay. And what was that?
Basically, we made women's power suits out of lamb leather and lamb suede.
Oh, okay.
And they were expensive suits even back then.
So the whole collection was women's power suits out of lamb leather.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, and I
that's a
mean this.
niche.
I made this coat out of because they would sometimes have to buy a custom lot of skins dyed or customized a certain way, and then the season would end and they'd have some left over. So I would do like a trade of I'll work for you for a certain amount of hours for this extra suede or leather you have.
Scraps.
Yeah.
Wow. How cool.
So I got a lot of leather back then.
So that's why you made these. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And you learned how to sew with leather while you were there. Did
Yeah.
they have all the finishing edges and all the cool, the stuff that they do to I mean, leather is a whole different animal. It's
Well,
like
these
its
were
own
these were much
animal.
lighter. Lamb leather is more almost like garment fabric. It's a much lighter fabric.
Awesome. Okay.
Although we did usually, this jacket, I'm actually pleased that I found a seller on Etsy who had this and had this photo up because I used to have a cut sheet. We bought the back page for Women's Wear Daily. On their Sunday edition, they had a color ad on the back and we bought it. And this jacket was featured on it. And we sold so many of this jacket. This was pearlized lamb leather with purple dyed python applique on it.
Wow. And if you don't know Women's Wear Daily, that's like one of the industry trade papers out
Yeah.
of New York. And so to have something in there, that's a
That was, I
pretty big
used to
deal.
have a cut sheet. I no longer have the cut sheet. These garments are also more recent photos I have found of Charté original pieces that we worked on. Like the buttonhole you see are bound buttonholes, bound in leather.
Wow, that must have been hard to sew.
And like all the seam allowances, because we didn't want to glue them down, we just narrow top stitched on both sides. It opened it out, top stitched, top stitched. So there's actually a lot of top stitching.
How
on
long did you
those.
work there?
Probably at least 7 years. Long time.
And a lot of leather.
Lot of leather.
Wow. All right.
And there is the back of the jacket that was a bit too dark up there. And there you can see actually the front of it on my husband there. That was at a friend's Halloween wedding. And I actually made the groom's crushed velvet long coat, but sadly I don't have a photo of that anymore.
Aw, Halloween weddings
was
are
very
so
cool.
fun.
Well, yes, she put out her invitations to come to her Halloween party to be briefly interrupted by her wedding.
That's cute.
And then this is another jacket that I made. This one is actually made out of scraps of the one that was featured on the ad. This is I called my Dolly jacket.
It looks like piano keys, that one?
Yeah,
Okay, that's really cool. Beautiful.
eyes and piano
I
keys.
love it. That's really pretty.
So that was actually, yeah. And this is some costumes I've made. This is for a local model. I mean, I think she's moved now, but her name was Perversia Riot. And
Oh, we're connected.
Small world.
I know. So this looks a lot newer, and yeah, obviously it is. What happened between that job with the lamb leather and making what you make now? Did you have another job in between, or have you just
I've
been like a
worked all
contractor?
sorts of different designers here and there. A lot of them. I've worked for them for while they were doing production, and then if they didn't keep going, sometimes I worked for a couple of them at the same time. Usually as a subcontractor. So
Great. For all in Arizona.
all in Arizona,
Okay.
except for I was in Los Angeles for a few years, and I was in San Francisco for a year.
Well, tell us about that before we look at all the beautiful things you've made. What took you all over?
Mostly my husband, because he was an actor, so, you know, and special effects makeup, but mostly he ended up doing theater when he was in those places. So, in San Francisco, I worked for a designer called Giselle Shepetin, and she still does stuff. I worked for her. I was there. I worked for her. I got the job not that long before I moved out of San Francisco back here. And she liked my work enough that for like 6 years, I worked with her through the mail. She would send me the fabrics. I would send her the finished garments. She would sell them.
Well, I get that. It's really hard to find skilled sewists and pattern makers and stuff. So
Yeah.
when you find one, you hold on to them for dear life.
And when I was in Los Angeles, I worked for a corset maker. So,
Oh my gosh. So going from lamb leather sewing to corset sewing, those are
well,
very
sometimes
different.
sometimes it's leather corsets.
Yeah, then you got to
So,
combine them.
this was actually a vinyl corset, and the problem was to get the exact color I needed. It was a stretch vinyl, so I had to mount it on non-stretchable couture. So that was quite an interesting project to do.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
But I think it came out pretty good for
It
that
looks
photo
beautiful.
show. This was another custom commission for somebody who wanted to do. This was, and I cannot remember the name. Java magazine.
Robert.
Yes.
I love Robert.
This was in Java magazine. She was doing she and her friends were models, and she put this together, and she wanted mermaid outfits.
Java was such a great magazine, like in the 2000s, 2010s, and a little bit beyond, where Robert was so open to people just curating it themselves, like coming in and doing your own photo shoots, and then he would put it on the cover and give you a spread and everything. So all the designers back then would get a chance to be featured in a magazine because they were just so open to that, you know, just take over here. The magazine's yours this month. Put together the photos. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was horribly jealous though. This waterfall was on the pool of the lady who arranged this.
Oh, wow. Well,
shoot.
good for her.
Gorgeous pool, gorgeous house.
That's awesome.
This was when I worked at Randall Designs. They're up on Bell Road near the old Metro Center area. They used to do the ballroom dancing dresses for Dancing with the Stars. He actually lost the contract when they went to having the contestants design the costumes and have like 1 week turnaround, and he's like, I can't do quality work in that.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, they did.
What's the point in that? Like, why did they change it to that?
know.
That seems crazy.
It was pretty. This dress over here was a custom dress, and it was draped on a mannequin. It is entirely spandex underneath the fringe and the jams. Every single fringe you see on the left side was individually placed with a Swarovski rhinestone.
Oh my gosh. And this was in Dancing with the Stars also?
No, this was for a private client.
Got it.
And this was one the hot pink dress was one I just made from scratch. And that was for private clients as well.
Nice. Okay. So
I rhinestoned it as well as sewing it and designing
how did you learn how to, do the rhinestoning?
Just sort of whenever we would get really, really busy, everybody chipped in to helping get things done.
At Randall's?
Yeah, at Randall's. Sometimes, I mean, even the manager and everybody would come out, and we'd be doing like the last rhinestones on this big double circle skirt to get it done.
So what is that glue that everybody uses? That
E6000,
something like that? Yeah.
Yeah. It smells terrible, but it holds them on.
It's all very toxic. Wow. Okay. Tell us a little bit about that experience. I think it's really great. That's kind of your, I don't know, like that's the thing that everybody like, I was helping with, Dancing with the Stars. I feel like that's the epitome of what everybody would want to do if they were in costume design. Did you feel like that at the time? Like, oh, I'm helping with this big, big
It was
thing.
fun. Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
How did you get that job?
Again, just I found an ad for it and I applied, you know.
Good
I
old
was-
fashioned newspaper ad, probably, huh?
no, actually just a regular ad.
This is now in the modern era. Okay.
These are a couple of pieces that we did custom for a Canadian figure skating competitors. Not Olympic, but just below Olympic level. This dress, we had so much problems with on the left because she wanted that fringe. She wanted that fringe so bad. They get downgraded for anything that falls off their costume.
Oh.
She flipped around all over the place on that. I'm not surprised some of those fringes came off.
Oh, no. Oh.
And this was just a cute one that we did for them.
And this is why you were working at the Randall shop, or no?
This was, well, yeah,
Okay.
this is custom pieces from Randall's.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, we had a lot of private clients. The top one was some corsetry of my own, which you see in the middle. That was for a fashion show that I made for that. And this top left one is being shown at one of the shows at Alwyn House, if you know them. They are also a nonprofit arts center. The one down below is I worked for a belly dancing clothing entrepreneur who went around all of the Ren fairs. She had like half a dozen or more Ren fairs that she would vend at. And when they overlapped, she would have other people that would go in and do it. And I was one of the people that made the stuff.
Great. And the wings for the Alwyn House, like what was the event?
That was for one of their creative events. I think it was a pride event, hence the colors of the wings.
How did you, is that a lot of glue or like, did you sew those? Like, tell us a little bit about making that.
Those, I didn't make those particular, but I did work for that company for a while. Those are fixed wings. I can also make ones that are remote controlled and can open from 10-foot to 16-foot wingspans.
Oh my gosh.
The inner part is, all the mechanics are done, and then there's like a felt under part that goes over the mechanisms and is tied on with the elastics, and then we would glue actual feathers to that. And then the long feathers were usually heavy gauge wire with cutout feathers of fabric held together with wallpaper paste.
And then
Synthetic
there's like a
wallpaper
whole
paste.
mechanism inside that you just operate with a
Yeah,
remote?
it's got hydraulics and not hydraulics, pneumatics in there.
So you buy it kind of already built and then you
No,
put your
we made
wing,
it.
your stuff on it? You
No, we
built
built
the
them.
pneumatics and
We
everything?
built them. I can build them.
Oh my God. How did you learn that?
from the lady who was doing those.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I think I need to commission some of those. Who doesn't want a pair of those?
And I've been going to conventions, sci-fi fantasy conventions since I was 14. And one of the things that is in fandom is Asian ball jointed dolls. And they are usually, there are some that are bigger, smaller, but a lot of them are either 1/4 human scale, which is about 16 inches, and 1/3 human scale, which is about 24 inches. These ones you see here are about 24 inches, more or less.
And they're just collectibles, right?
Yeah. And I did these outfits all completely custom. I draft the patterns, I make them, I source the stuff for them. All the buttons and buttonholes you see on that and the welt pockets are all real. They function.
Oh my God.
There are 3/4 inch welt pockets on there that function with China silk lining in them.
Okay, if anybody knows what a welt pocket is, it's that little skinny pocket that it's on the back of like men's trousers or on jackets. They're very hard to sew. It's tedious, and I can't imagine. I mean, they do the same thing for buttonholes, like they're welt buttonholes, and that's
Mhm.
really hard. But this sounds even smaller than that.
They're
Like I don't
small.
even get how you did that. Do you have to hand sew all of that, or
No,
You
no,
can do
all
that on the
sold on
machine?
machine, all sold machine.
what? Okay. And then what about those buttons themselves and the actual buttonholes? Like, how do you make the tiny buttonhole like that?
On the machine.
Okay.
I'm just really good at doing tiny little buttonholes on the machine.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I didn't even know my machine could go that small, that tiny of a buttonhole. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have to show me this.
And this one actually, this was the jacket was a custom order for somebody. And all of those buttons you see up both sides, there are buttonholes underneath them, and you can actually unbutton them.
Oh my gosh. Bring these to work one day. I need to look at this. This is cool. Do you have all these still?
No, these went off to customers.
Oh, okay.
But
This
I need
isn't
to
your
do
own collection.
I need to do some because I'm doing some patterns custom to be offering soon. So
Okay. So
I
you're going
need
to
to
start
make some.
offering the clothes for the dolls as patterns.
Yeah, I'm going to
so
start
people can-
offering patterns
Very
for
cool.
one of, especially for a doll called Smart Doll. It's offered from Japan.
Wow. Okay. And then where do you market those?
There are various groups on the internet.
I'm sure you're a part of all of those.
Yeah. Again, my Sam Spade outfit, there's a full suit underneath that raincoat, which is based on London fog. Pretty much all the details are the same as a full-size London fog. I made the hat. I didn't make the shoes, but I did make the gloves, and the gloves do go over individual fingers.
Oh my. Okay. Wait a minute. Even Amelia's back there shaking her head. I mean, if anybody's ever sewed gloves, that's really hard to do too. And the seam
Yeah,
allowance
these gloves
is so
are about
tiny.
the hands are about this big.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
And
Okay,
and that's PVC vinyl too, stretchy.
okay, you didn't do
but-
that on your sewing machine, did you?
Yes.
What? Okay, stop. I'm gonna have to witness this. This is not even possible. What's the seam allowance on that?
For those, probably like a 1/16 of an inch.
I mean, what the needle has to be so thin to like get. Okay. I don't know. It's blowing my mind right now.
I'm known for being a little, and if you notice the pants, because they're proper 1940s Sam Spade pants, have pleats and cuffs.
Of course they do. I love the attention to detail. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. This is a corset I made for one of them. Instead of a busk, I have little tiny hooks and eyes that function basically the same as a busk.
Are they real, like regular hooks and eyes, like real size, or are they shrunk down?
They're little hooks and eyes.
They're smaller
They're
than
small
normal.
ones,
Okay.
but they can be opened, and all the lacing holes were put in individually.
Oh my gosh.
Those are boned with the tiny little zip ties that you can get. You get those little mini zip ties.
So the eyelets, how big are those?
Those are scrapbooking eyelets. They are like 1/8 inch. These are also motorcycle jackets. All the snaps work. All the zippers work. The zipper pockets open. There is an inside to them. You can sort of see it on one of the red jacket that the sleeves also have zippers on them.
That is. Wow. Oh my God. No wonder you get all
So
the
details,
problem
yeah.
child.
Now you know why I don't think that much about doing details
Yeah.
on anything we
Yeah.
do.
She does it like just for fun. So
Yeah, I'm a little crazy about the detail.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this is silk that was cut out and fused onto the base fabric, and then I satin stitched all the way around it. Didn't have an embroidery machine at that point in time.
Oh wow.
And the outfit underneath is like 2 different layers of custom things. It's to match a character named Floaty Fire. I cannot remember his name at the moment. Flowright is his last name. I cannot get his first
It'll
name
come
to
to you
begin
in
with.
the middle
Yeah.
of the next part of the presentation.
Yep, probably. And if anyone has ever played Kingdom Hearts game, that is Sora. That was the inspiration photo, and that's the finished product I made. including the shoes.
The piping and everything. Wow.
Yeah.
You made the
And-
shoes?
Yep.
What are the soles made out of?
Foam, closed cell foam.
Jeez, man, Shar. You have patience.
And some more things. That one was based on a K-pop star, musician. And again, all the pockets are real pockets on there. The buttonholes, now that you can see that there's some of them are unbuttoned, that they are real buttonholes.
They are.
This one, this was before they had like crick cuts and things like that. So this was a fusible foil metal that I had to cut out by hand
Oh.
and fuse on there. And the piece on the bodice is actually metal that I cut out, and it is actual metal with the gems glued onto it.
How did you cut that out?
Tin snips, little tiny files,
Oh my
and a
goodness.
lot of patience.
Wow. And then even the hem on this chiffon, like how did
Yeah.
you do that? It's so tiny.
Yeah, just you turn it once, trim it, turn it again, stitch really narrow.
With your sewing machine.
Yep. Yeah, I don't do a lot of, there are some that do it by hand. I do not do most of my sewing on doll clothes by hand.
That's amazing. Because I mean, I don't like sewing by hand. I don't have the patience for it. As you can tell, I'm like blown away
The
by
nice
all of
thing
this,
about
but-
doing this, if you want to do costumes, is it gets you a chance to learn how to draft the pattern and to use good fabrics without spending a small fortune in time and materials. So it's actually good even if you just have one of these dolls, or even without the doll, just to make the little scale model of what you want to do.
A lot of times they teach you that when you go to design school.
Yeah.
You make it on a half
Little
scale.
mock-ups.
You know.
I mean, now
try it
you've
out
got
first.
video mock-ups, but if you want to actually physically put the pieces together
Yeah.
and see how they go together.
You don't waste so much fabric.
And these gloves have invisible zippers that go up the sides of them. Yeah.
What? That's awesome.
And I actually had one of these pairs of pants. I sold some on eBay for a while in their doll section, and it was in the dolls and bear section, and I had somebody buy one and send me his inseam.
Oh, because he wanted you to make a matching
No,
one?
he thought they were full-size pants.
Oh.
Because they have all the
Yeah.
same details.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
They have 4 pockets, they have belt loops, they have everything.
That's great. How funny.
And it took like 4 conversations back and forth to actually let him know that these are not full scale and I could not do them for that price for him full scale.
Wow, that's a testament to your skills because they look like they're.
And
the
that
real
is
thing.
also, PVC vinyl, and a lot of people hate working with that.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'm
hard to
used to
sew.
it by now.
I bet. It's hard to sew that. Oh, that was the last picture. Okay, so you've been doing.
We did have more though.
Oh yeah, where are they?
I
Okay,
don't
wait,
know.
hold on, guys. We added a whole bunch. Hold on. I'm gonna close and open it back up because maybe it didn't get refreshed when we added.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's what happened. We did have more.
Ah.
Here, we're gonna pull up a few more. I'm like, wait a minute.
Just some of
No,
what
no,
I'm
no.
doing these days.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, these days besides working here, I also run my own business, Looking Glass Noir, and I do a lot of machine embroidered pieces. These are actually made. Part of them is made on an embroidery machine, and then I hand rivet them together. There's like 50 or 60 rivets per purse, and these are custom done magnetic snaps on them.
And so Looking Glass Noir is on Etsy. Is that what you said?
It's on Etsy. I'm on Instagram. I need to update that, and my TikTok really needs updating.
But if somebody wanted to buy something, then
Yes.
Etsy would be the
Yeah.
place to go. or-
LookingGlassNoir.com will take you right to my Etsy until I get my own website up and running.
Awesome. So somebody can order one of these.
Yeah.
Great. It's really great, really cute.
But I also vend around the valley at various events. I just got done doing one for the Valentine event at Curious Nature, which is an oddities shop.
Is that in Mesa?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, that's up here in Phoenix.
Awesome.
And I also just vended for the Pain Proof Punks at Alwyn House last month too.
Do you have any coming up?
Not right now. I'm taking a little break because I also sell my stuff at Morbid Mystique at 51st Avenue and Thunderbird. And I took them all of my vending stock. So I now have to make new vending stock.
Got it.
Although I am in talks with a couple of places to vend at their events too.
So would you mind telling us a little bit about what it would cost to buy something like this? Or what are your price points?
These actually sell for $55 each.
That's
They're
really
small. They're
good.
mini. They're mini.
That's a great price.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah, for a handmade, like you made it individually yourself. That's
Yeah.
really good. Wow. And
I think there's some more too.
yeah, and you make
These are these are 5-inch wristlets. These are entirely sewn, but the fronts are embroidered. I'm working right now on moving the embroidery over. I make coffin purses as well in the riveted style, and I'll be doing these on those because the problem with the wristlets is they're adorable, but they don't fit a phone. They're 5 inches in diameter.
right. Maybe you can make them be like have a little attachment to your phone. You know what I mean? If you wanted that to kind of hang off your phone or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, at the moment I'm making them so that they'll be on something that'll fit your phone.
Yeah. Got it. They're super cute. And so
Thank
you do the
you.
embroidery yourself?
Yeah, these are all, I've got 3 embroidery machines and I sometimes run them all at once.
And where does the artwork come from?
Some I've done, some I've bought, all different places.
You digitize, like you create your own
I do
artwork?
some digitizing. Yeah, I need to do more.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. And where did you learn how to do that?
Self-taught.
Of course.
And I just got a filament 3D printer.
Ooh, that's exciting. Oh, I can't wait to see what you make with that.
So yeah, new toy.
Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you want to share? Things that you've done, things that maybe coming up?
Other than I really need to deal with making that one garment.
Okay, so we actually have Eco Fashion Week coming up in April, and the finale fashion show is a partnership with Ballet Arizona, and we have 11 designers, I think, that are participating, right? It's 11? Okay. And each designer gets a costume from Ballet Arizona, and they're going to upcycle it. They get also printed material, so they can design their own print. And then we're going to print 3 yards for them to add to the costume because the costumes were kind of small. So we just want to make sure they had enough yardage. So they get to get the costume and then design their own print to match the costume so that they have enough yardage. And then they're going to create something out of it. And then it's going to be part of like a high tea afternoon at a really amazing house in Paradise Valley. It's like a private residence. That's really cool. And it's a fundraiser for both Fabric and Ballet Arizona, and she's going to be one of the designers in it.
Yep.
So you'll be able to, if you would like to attend that, you'll be able to see what she creates. And obviously it's going to be really cool. I'm really excited to see what it is. I mean, the detail is probably going to be the best part
Probably
of it.
involve a corset this time.
Awesome. Actually, also Amelia is going to be one of the designers in it too. So when you came in, the person that checked you in is going to be part of it as well.
You know, I think when you refreshed, you lost those photos that were in the earlier part too. Remember, we added them to that
Did
other
we?
section.
Okay, let me see.
'Cause
Yes.
I'm realizing one of my corsets wasn't on there.
Oh no. You know what? Oh, I think it was up higher. Yeah. There were a couple more. Yes, right here. This is it. That's right. We added them. So I had pulled up the presentation and then we added stuff to it.
Ah, yes. This was a custom gown I did for a model. She was going to do a photo shoot in it. This is all custom made, and you can't see the bottom hem, but all this gold is cut out of yardage and hand stitched on. And around the hem, which was a double circle, there were tiny little gold flowers all the way around them.
Wow, that's
And it
beautiful.
came up in triangular sections. Unfortunately, COVID hit, lockdown hit, and she gained weight and changed her job during COVID.
Oh, no.
So this poor gown will never get its photo shoot now. So
Aw.
these are the only photos I have of it. I just took quick photos because she said she was doing a photo shoot.
Right. What a bummer. Maybe you could borrow it back and do a photo shoot. We have a photographer right here.
Yeah, I kind of wish.
And then that one.
And this was another piece I did for her out of embroidered lace over a base. And she wanted it over a base she already had. And she got it and she was wearing it to a party. And she said, "Oh, I gained weight since I gave you that. Can you enlarge it? I need it in 2 days."
Oh, of course.
And I
Everybody
did
needs
it.
in 2 days. Oh, you did?
I did it.
Nice.
Plus making a jacket that went over it to match, which I don't have the photo of. And this was one when I worked for the corset maker. I don't know why all my other corset pictures, I don't think they got uploaded. But this is one I made when I was working for the corset maker in Los Angeles. And this was actually from the Rubber Ball in Los Angeles.
What's that? Like an event?
Yeah.
Like a ball, but everybody wears vinyl.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And this was on their stage show. This
Oh.
was part of their stage show. We had another corset that I worked on that was actually made out of alligator and had the spines down the back.
Oh, cool. Ooh.
I'm sure I work with it now. I'm not as big on working with animals that are not used for food
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah, things have changed a lot in the way we think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Things you used to do without even thinking about
Yeah,
it. Now
yeah.
you're like, I don't know.
Well, that's a good point. So, if you could have done anything different in your life, would you, or do you really enjoy like all these different experiences and you're happy with the way things turned out? I'm curious about that about everybody.
I'd probably like to take another shot at it. I think there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it all made me. So if I'd gone through
Yeah.
different experiences, I wouldn't be me.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to say you'd like to do everything different because that would be somebody else.
Right, exactly. And you've come out to be like one of the most important people at Fabric, so I'm glad you didn't take any other different direction. And you're so talented.
But
and-
now you know why I'm good at details.
Yeah, this is why we give you all the problem children. Okay, so
And Oh, sorry. I was
Go
just
ahead.
about to say also I've done a lot of custom work for cosplay commissions, but unfortunately, a lot of them were from the era before we could easily digitally upload them. So I no longer have the photos of them.
yeah, you could say that probably about a lot of things. Like I think about
If
we all have a
people have
camera
been
in our
working
hand
long
now.
enough, yeah, a lot of our early portfolio is just gone.
My whole first business, like I don't really have a very few
Yeah.
memories from it, very few pictures. From
I was
it.
just overjoyed to find those couple photos of Charté original pieces
bet.
on the line
Yeah,
because there's nothing online about
Yeah.
it.
that's a bummer. Anything else? We're going to go to a Q&A, but I just want to make sure
I'm
you're able
also
to share
doing
everything.
the Eco Week, the denim upcycle.
Oh, good. Okay, so the first night of Eco Fashion Week is an event called Refabricate, and you can come and select a few denim pieces that were donated by Threads. If you don't know what Threads is, it's a store at Tempe Union High School, and a few other schools have it, and it's free. Basically, it's like a clothing swap in a way. You don't have to swap though. You just walk in and take whatever you want. There's no cost to any of it. It's a free store. It's pretty awesome. So they get an abundance of stuff and donated to them. And they donated a whole bunch of extra jeans to our event. We do this event every single year. And basically the community comes and takes denim and upcycles it into different designs. And we put it on the runway at Tempe Marketplace. And it's a really fun event. You get to see some pretty amazing designs. And so she's going to be a part of that. And so you can come to both of those events and see whatever really amazing creation.
And we
that
still have to
creates.
talk about doing a pop-up. some
Oh,
point.
yes. Well, actually, during Eco Fashion Week, we have a pop-up event as well.
Ah.
You should participate in the pop-up.
Okay.
So hurry up and make a bunch of that stuff so that you actually have
I'm gonna
supplies.
start from scratch and getting new stock up.
Yes, I'm going to hold you to this. You need to be part of that pop-up so everybody here can come back and buy one of your cute little purses. And
Yeah, and in the
Little round ones.
meantime, they can either go online or they can go to Morbid Mystique. Morbid Mystique has like 40 local designers, all on kind of a dark look, but everything from clothing, purses like I do, candles, taxidermy, all sorts of things.
wow, how cool. Tell them to put themselves in the boutique section of the
Oh, I
directory.
should.
Yeah.
They would love to do that.
Yeah, we'll help promote it. Everybody can find them. Actually, just want to throw, I mentioned all the people involved in all these shows. Twyla is actually going to be in Refabricate, right? Yay. Okay, so if anybody else wants to join them, you can sign up for these shows on the events page of the website. So if you sew, you should be part of Refabricate. You really should. It's a cool event. Can't wait to see what you make. Okay, so we're going to go to Q&A now. Does anybody have any questions for Shar that maybe technical or just curious about, her experience or anything? I'm going to bring the mic so that people online can hear.
How did you get into pneumatics, and is there anything else any other type of designs that you work with pneumatics and clothing?
That's the only time I have done that. And I learned that from the designer I was working with. Her job was making wings like that. She sold them all around the world. So I learned all of that from her. And I have wanted to do some fashions with lights and other things in them, but I haven't quite gotten them done yet, but I'm working on it.
Great question. I did something in the early 2000s with lights in it at the Scottsdale Museum of Contemporary Art. So I used to put fashion shows on there quarterly, and the light thing was so difficult because the little LED bulbs, we would have them come out of different holes, and I made this one that was like a circus theme, and we had a clown nose that lit up, and then parts of the eyebrows and stuff, and it was pretty cool. But all those little wires and stuff were kind of taped together on the inside of the bodice, like between the lining and the shell. And when something came apart, like when they disconnected or whatever, like to get up in there and have to like get in and fix it was a nightmare. So it lasted, for a show or two and then never lit up again because it was just too hard to get up in there. I think that there's a lot better systems now. Probably just throw in one of the things that you find at the dollar store and it will last better, the little lights that you have around Christmas and things. But this was way back before, it was that easy.
Well, there's a really great designer, and cannot bring up his name, but he actually does pieces, I believe, for as a content creator, and then I think he also does some things for the extreme drag shows. And he'll take like a vintage leather motorcycle jacket and he will do these amazing things to it. He did a Beetlejuice one, and he did electronics in the back, so it did the whole light up sign with the Beetlejuice
that's awesome.
on the back, and just all the custom painting and foiling and Swarovski crystals all over it. It was amazing.
That's really cool.
And he does all of these all the time. He did a skirt that actually spun.
How fun.
So it was on a track around the waist, so you just could spin.
That's really cool. I love it.
So
does anybody have any other questions? I have one. What is your favorite thing to make?
Probably corsets. I don't get to make them as often as I'd like.
Really? Why? Why are they your favorite?
A lot of detail, a lot of attention to detail.
Love it. What's your favorite fabric to work with?
Probably PVC.
Really? Those bags and stuff, are they PVC or are they leather?
No, those are marine vinyl.
Okay, got it. Cool.
So they're tough as nails,
Yeah.
and you can just wipe them out.
Right. That's great.
I just got an order of like 14 yards of marine vinyl like 2 days ago.
Let's pull those up again. Those guys, right? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, but they're both made out of vinyl. The ones with the patterns are custom printed. There's like little houses that, like you print things, that they just do small amounts, and some of them print in-house, some of them send them off to printers overseas. The ones overseas take forever to get them back because they usually have to be shipped back by boat, and I have waited up to a year for some custom printed fabric.
Oh my God.
I don't do that anymore. I either buy their retail or I buy ones that do print on demand in country.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience anymore.
Right. Well, just get some white. We'll print it for you here.
Yeah.
We have that, the connection to cactus leather, so that you can get white cactus
Yeah, I got to
leather.
get some of that lighter cactus leather.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of good weights of that now. Any other questions? Yay.
I think you mentioned Cricut earlier, like die cut machines.
Oh,
maybe?
yes, yeah.
I wonder just how much you have, embraced some of that newish technology. in your
I
sewing or
want to
pattern
do more with that. I actually have a scan and cut that is still in the box. But so far I've mostly been cutting things out myself, but I'd like to start using some more of that because they do some amazing things. I've seen a few presentations for people who do costumes for movies, and they're showing, that's not metal. That's just the metallic vinyl that we cut on our machine and iron on.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know, something to be said about you hand cutting everything, though. I think that's pretty incredible. I like
Yeah.
that better.
Well, and also you don't end up with size problems. I mean, I do with the embroidery, I can only do 8 by 10, because size limitations.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
But if I cut it by hand, there really aren't. Other than this is an insane amount to do.
Well, has never stopped you. Apparently, that
No,
doesn't bother
apparently
you.
not.
Well, you're super talented. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and all of your skills and your pictures and everything that you do with us today. We really appreciate it. Let's give her a big hand. And you did it.
I did it.
She was really nervous about being up here today. So you did an awesome job. And you guys, thank you so much for coming to these. Please come again next month. I always check and see who we have the month after, but I can't remember who we have next month. But we're going to send it out in the newsletter, which comes out in a couple of days. So you'll see who, and then we always share it on social media too. It'll be another expert that will tell us their journey, and we'll get a chance to all get together and learn something again. So please come last Thursday of every single month, and come to Eco Fashion Week. Mark your calendars. It's April 19th through the 26th. And so fashion show in the beginning, fashion show at the end, panel discussions, pop-ups, clothing swaps, all kinds of different things. So the whole week worth of events. And I hope you guys are here the whole entire time. We need our community to be here and participating and doing all this. And if you want to be in Refabricate, sign up. You can still sign up. And it's on the events page. There's a button that gives you all the information about it and the details and everything. All right. And if anybody wants a tour of the factory, let me know. We'll go downstairs and I'll show it to you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you coming. Awesome. Good job.